Hi and hello to all. This side Priya Rana and I welcome you all to this 10 days online workshop of aspects and applications of research which is sponsored by SD College Ambala Cant. This side Priya Rana, assistant professor at Commerce and Management Department. And in my second video, this is my second video in which we are going to study about the types of research. So moving on. So we have 13 types of research which we are going to explain here in this. The first one is descriptive research. So descriptive research, it tries to tell you about the statement of affairs which are present with the researcher, in which a researcher has no control over the variables. So we can say that descriptive research, it describes the situation. It describes the situation, that what it is, and it attempts to determine and describe or identify what is. Other questions it doesn't answer. It does not answer the questions how, when, why, and what are the other characteristics. It only answers the question what. It only answers the questions what. So in descriptive research, we are able to describe something and explain something which are already present, the situation which we are already present. So, for example, the pandemic disease COVID 19 created the situation of lockdown in countries. So, here the researcher can find out that what we do to live a healthy life in this situation. So, the researcher created surveys and observation of the situation. Then he described the situation, and when he is describing the situation, on the basis of that he find out the preventive measures. So this is descriptive research, in which we are just describing the situation and trying to formulate a result of the research. Next is analytical research. In analytical research, the researcher uses facts. The researcher uses facts and information already available, and he analyzes them to make critical evaluation of the material. So in analytical research, he is using the facts which are already available. He is using the information which is already available, and here he attempts to establish why it is, and why it is that way, and how it came to be. He attempts to answer such questions. Okay, next he says that analytical research usually concerns itself with cause and effect relationship, because we are trying to answer why it is, how it is. We are trying to answer such questions, then it becomes a cause and effect relationship type of research. So, for example, examining the fluctuations of US international trade balance during 1974 to 1995 is the example of descriptive research, because here we are just examining the fluctuations which are already present in the US international trade market. So this is descriptive research. When we are explaining why and how US trade balance move in a particular way over a period of time, this is analytical research. Moving on. Talking about conceptual research, it is related to some abstract idea or theory. It is related to some abstract idea or theory. So, to develop new concept or to reinterpret the existing ones, the philosopher, he has to develop new theories and interpret existing theories in a different light. So in conceptual theories, first of all, we already have abstract idea or abstract theory in which we are going to reinvent, and in which we are going to put our own concepts to the existing ones. So for example, Copernicus used conceptual research to come up with the concept about stellar constellations based on his observations about the universe. So down the line, Galileo simplified Copernicus' research by making his own conceptual observations, which gave rise to more experimental research and confirmed the predictions made at that time. This means that Copernicus has already given his conceptual research, but Galileo has also simplified that, and he has used the abstract theory. He has used the abstract theory which was given by Copernicus. Okay, so conceptual research is when you use the result which are when you use the research which is the existing ones, and you are interpreting that existing theory to a different light. Next is applied research. Applied research aims at finding solution to an immediate problem facing in a society or an industrial business organization. So in applied research, researcher objective is to set such a researcher objective are set by clients, sponsor, or as a solution for a specific problem for a which they are facing. So we can say that applied research is finding solution to a problem which are facing by the society, and it is sponsored by some clients or some other person who is the sponsor of doing of making that research to happen. So for example, if I give you that the study in the study of improving the level of customer satisfaction of Walmart in China. So Walmart is maybe the sponsor who is letting this research of level of customer retention in China. So this is applied research which is happening in a business organization or industrial place. Moving on to next. So we always have a confusion between action research and applied research. Let's see the difference. See, action research are basically for a short period of time, if I say, but applied research are for in a long scale area, and for it happens to be at a longer applicability area. So we can say that goal is to solve a local concern, but here the goal is to solve the problem of a wide population. If we are taking a wide population and then we are doing research, we can say that we are doing applied research. But when we say that it is for a smaller area and small scale research, and we are solving the problem of immediate problem, then we can say we are using action research. So in action research, a little training is required to conduct the study, but in applied research, we need a considerable training. Next is to identify problem of a local concern. Here we are just identifying the problem of a local concern, and then we are formulating our research. Here we need the investigator, large issues and concerns carried out. So in here we just the practitioners we are doing which are using, which are on the process. The population also can do this research. So we can say that these are carried out by the practitioners who are practicing the problem. But here if I say applied research, it is to be done by the expert researchers. It is less rigorous, it is more rigorous. It is for local applicability, it is for journal applicability. So this is the basic difference between action research and applied research. Next, if I talk about fundamental research is also known as basic research. It is also known as pure research. So we give fundamental research these two names also. So talking about fundamental research is driven by curiosity and desire to expand knowledge in a specific research area. When we are seriously doing a pure research on a some area, we call it a fundamental research. When we have a desire to do it, we just want to expand our knowledge in a particular area, we want to give our best to that particular area, that is fundamental research. Talking about more in fundamental research, we can say that it mainly aims to answer the question why, what, and how they tend to contribute the pool of fundamental knowledge in the research area. For example, a critical analysis of product placement is an effective marketing strategy. So we are here critically analyzing the product placement as an effective marketing strategy or not. For that, we have to answer the questions why we are going to do it, and what for what purpose we are going to do it, and how we are going to formulate it, and how it tend to contribute to the pool of fundamental knowledge, how it's going to contribute to the society in our research area in our particular field. Moving on to the next. Longitudinal research are the research which are carried on for a longer period of time. We have here trend analysis, which are trends which changes from time to time. If we are searching such kind of a thing, then we are following a longitudinal research. Panel studies, for that we use longitudinal research. Cross-sectional research. If I talk about cross-sectional research, it is defined as observational study where data is collected as a whole study of the population at a single point of time to examine the relationship between the variables and the interest. See, here we are observing, here we are studying the data which is collected as whole to study a population at a single point of time. When at a single point of time we take the we collect the data of the entire population, and then we examine the relationship between the variables which interest us. That is cross sectional study. Here the researcher record information about the participants without changing or manipulating any natural environment in which they exist. That is cross sectional research. So if I talk about more, the more important feature of cross sectional study is that it can compare different samples at one given point in time. Let's see the example. A researcher wants to understand the relationship between joggers and level of cholesterol. So he or she might want to choose two age groups of daily joggers. One group below 30 and but more than one group is below 30 but more than 20, and other above 30 but below 40, and compare these cholesterol levels among non-joggers in the same categories. So what we are doing is we are comparing different samples. We have taken two samples, one group or two or other group, and at one given point of time we are comparing their relationship between between the joggers and their level of cholesterol. So here also we are doing without manipulating the natural. We are doing this research without manipulating the thing, and that's how we are forwarding towards. Moving on to the next. Empirical research. In empirical research, it is based on observation and measured phenomena and derives knowledge from actual experience rather than from theory or belief. So, empirical research is basically concerned with our experience. It What we have observed alone. So we can say that empirical research relies on experience and observation alone. So if I give you an example, a research is being conducted to find out if listening to happy music while working may promote creativity. Then an experiment is conducted by using a music website survey. We have conducted an experiment. Then on that basis, the result derived that from such a research, it will give empirical evidence if it does promote creativity or not. If see here, the researcher is conducting the research on the basis of his experience, on the basis of his experiment, what he has done. This is the experiment which he has done. Like he has conducted a survey according to his knowledge. He has observed something. That's how he is forwarding. This is the empirical research. Field research is when you are actually on the ground level and then you are doing the research. That is the field research. So talking about more, then it is defined as qualitative method or data collection that aims to observe, interact and understand people while they are in the natural environment. So for example, natural conservation, who is the conservationist, observe behavior of animal in their natural surrounding and the way they react scenarios. So this is the field research where the researcher is going to the wild area, or you can say to the area which is under conservation. He is going to that area and he is observing the behavior of the animal. So this is the field research. Simulation research, we can say that this research involves creation of an artificial environment in which the environment is similar to the real environment. So here the researcher is creating an environment, and he is the result that he find out in the artificial environment, he thinks that this would be the similar way the respondent will react in a real world. So then he do the research. So in example I have given that, thus, if we want to study the consumer spending behavior, for that the researcher has given 1000 rupees and he wants to record the buying capacity of the consumer. So here what he is doing is his buying behavior can be recorded in an outlet very similar to the actual real environment. He has given an outlet which is similar to the real one, and he just tries to know the his spending behavior of the consumer. Then he fetches the result, and after that he does his research. Talking about qualitative research is the one which provides insight and understanding of the problem setting. In here, so we can say that it is the research in which we find out the way people think and feel, in which we find out the way people think and feel. We talk about behaviors, we talk about experience, we talk about attitudes, intentions, motivations on the basis of observation and interpretation. So qualitative research is basically qualitative in nature. Talking about quantitative research, see here, the researcher used the data, he used the quantitative data, for example graphs, tables, raw data. He used the data to analyze the result. He used the mathematical and computational and statistical methods to measure the findings. So here the researcher uses quantitative data to find out the solution of the problem. So that's all from my second video. Thank you.